school in general. I've said this before. I was a bad student.
Yeah.
I studied to get the grade.
Yeah, at IU South Bend, we had some great speakers.
Tell me about your speakers.
Phenomenal. Mostly, don't do drugs. Things
When
like
the lawyer asks, do I
Dare
have
officers were speaking. Dare officers speaking at IU South.
I actually was the winner of a Dare essay.
Really? What'd you talk about?
I thought Marcus was
Not
going to
doing
say
drugs.
Not doing drugs?
I was actually the speaker at IU South
No,
Bend.
that was either fourth or fifth.
Welcome to The Cover, where three Hoosier friends judge books by their covers and movies by their trailers.
That's right. I'm Brett, here with my fellow Indiana natives, Remington and Marcus, ready to dive into the stories that keep us up all night and occasionally put us to sleep.
Whether you're a bookworm, movie buff, or just here for the witty banter, we've got you covered.
Each week, we'll dissect a different book or movie, sharing fun facts, hot takes, and moments that make Marcus cry. Spoiler alert, we're not experts, but we're definitely opinionated.
From literary masterpieces to blockbuster flops, nothing is safe from our snarky reviews and wild tangents. Who knew Hoosiers could be this entertaining?
So grab your popcorn and reading glasses because we're about to embark on a hilarious journey through the pages and screens that shape our lives. Or at least our weekends.
You're listening to The Cover. Let's get the show on the road before one of our kids wakes up. Yes, it does. When it tastes like carrots,
I'm
it's
sorry, that tastes
Aquafina.
fine.
It's got,
But
minerals in
Aquafina
it.
and Dasani is very bad. Yeah, but that's not it.
So you can have it.
Oh, thanks.
What did you say?
Aquafina. and Dasani.
Aquafini?
Aquafina.
Aqua
You
Mr.
said it
Feeney?
first.
Isn't she an actress?
That's Rem's wife. She's
Aquafina.
not-
That's
Oh,
She does the
Topanga.
voice
The
to
Asian
every.
girl?
Yeah, she does the voice to every.
yeah, she's great. She's in Raya. She's in Raya, which is a great flick.
oh,
She's in like everything.
I love her. She's in Kung Fu Panda
Everything.
4.
She's in everything.
The raspy voice.
Let's go, man. This is going to be so good.
She is though.
So what's new? What's new is our very own Sir Remington Ramsey is officially an author.
Does it
Hey-o.
say that on the
Let's
cover,
go,
Sir Remington?
You know what? They
Remington.
left off the sir. I don't
Oh,
know.
what?
man.
What would be the consequences?
If I really was a knight.
No,
No,
if you
if you
weren't
said
a
you
knight,
were,
but
but
you
you
said Sir Remington,
I don't know. That's a good question.
would they just have to knight you?
Hold on. I'm looking up Kung Fu Panda 4.
Why don't you just look up Aquafina?
Yeah, Aquafina. She's
She's in a lot of. She
Also
voices a
in
lot
Pitch
of characters.
Perfect. She's in Pitch Perfect. Plays a great
Crazy
role in
Rich
that.
Asians.
Yep.
Little Mermaid, Ocean's 8. She's in a lot of movies.
Oh yeah.
That's why we know her. That's the only
But she's
reason we
super
know her.
funny in that Marvel movie. What's the Marvel movie she's in?
I
The
don't know.
Rings.
Oh, the
Shang-Chi.
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 Very good.
She's great in that. She's funny in that.
I don't remember her
She's-
in that.
She's the
She's
second lead.
We watched them all
Aquafina.
once. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Agent Allies on Amazon now. Buy it.
Just released. Number one new release on Amazon for real estate books.
That's fun. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
pretty cool.
So if
proud
you're
of you.
in real estate, buy it. If you're not in real estate, buy it and help out a brother.
If you own real
Yes, sir.
estate, buy it. If you want to ever own real estate, buy it.
Mm-hmm,
That covers everyone. That covers everyone.
That probably does.
As long as you live in America where we can buy things.
That's true.
Welcome to the Cover Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Wiggins. Aquafina's not here. And as always, to my left is...
Marcus Mangus.
And that sounds so good.
sounds so
sitting
weird,
to
is what
my
you said.
right is author, Sir.
Remington Ramsey.
Brett's had 2 sips of his appletini and he's going crazy.
Apple Teeny.
Well, actually, this peanut butter situation from Fresh Market, I
Yeah,
can't
dude.
stop thinking about it.
Yeah, have we talked about this?
No.
Is it alcoholic?
No.
But it's got me on a high.
It's
All right?
amazing.
It's-
honey roasted, and you grind your own peanuts at the Fresh Market.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Peanuts.
Grind your own nuts.
You grind them. Rem, what are we covering this episode?
Oh, dude, I'm not ready for that. I have our top 10 episodes.
Sorry, I'm not ready for
We
that.
gotta do stats, yo.
I'm knees
I got
deep.
some stats.
I'm knees deep.
I
in the,
love stats.
The storyline of Kung Fu Panda 4. Did you know they're coming out with the 5? You guys, hey, it's 2025. We got some 2024 stats for the podcast before we talk about what we're covering.
Okay, so here's what I've decided to do. I have
Do you think anybody can tell this is the second episode we've recorded in a row?
No way.
Okay, so listen. I've got the top 10 episodes we've done of 2024. We're recording this in 2025. Last year was our first year. A lot of things have happened. I'm not going to name any of them. Just a lot of things.
A lot of things. A lot of things have happened.
We have this new studio. We added a producer.
This is what, episode
Producer
33?
Nate. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, but I have the top 10 episodes. So what I'm going to do is give you guys a clue starting from number 10.
Yep.
And you guys have to guess before the other guy guesses.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Okay.
So you're giving us clues. All right.
Like, do we have to buzz?
You just
No,
got to
just
say
say
it.
it.
And it's going to be out of
Okay.
10. All right?
Got it.
Number 10, Bear Attack.
And
Revenant.
Yes, 1 to Brett. Can you, Producer Nate, if you're paying attention, can you take a tally? Can you
he's
take
still
a
looking
tally?
up cuckold.
Can you take a tally of who wins this? Okay. My sons were better men.
Ooh.
Patriot.
Come on, Mangus, that was a 5-second delay. I expected
that's a
you
little
to
rough.
know that.
A little rough. I'm just getting in the groove.
All right. There's a stinge in this episode.
Stench?
Stench.
A stench. The Indifferent Stars Above.
No. A smell. A certain smell.
A certain smell.
Like a basement, a semi-basement.
Oh, Parasite?
Parasite.
Oh, wow.
Coming in at number, I guess I haven't said it. So Revenant coming in at number 10. And number 9 is The Patriot. Parasite. One that would be at Cannes or Cannes or Sundance. The one that got us talking about Cannes all those times ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 7. A book about someone who wasn't privy to the real world.
Ooh, Educated.
Yes, sir. Tara Westover, Educated. Fantastic book.
Dang it.
Another book coming in at number 6.
Boys in the Boat.
Cheating now. This guy flew across the country just for a daddy-daughter dance.
Oh, Dave Grohl.
What's the name of the book?
Storyteller.
Dave.
Storyteller.
If
Dave
he listens, he's going to be
Grohl.
so disappointed.
The second episode coming in at
When
number
he
6.
listens. He's on the plane a lot.
Okay. Top 5.
Oh.
I almost misquoted this movie. Jenny.
Forrest Gump.
Oh, I think Brett got that. Top 4. Number 4. All right.
Matthew McConaughey's Green
Green
Light.
Lights.
Ooh, that's a pretty close one. I'm going to give it to Brett.
That's right.
Oh, my gosh. It's just because he's your brother.
Oh, 4-3.
Marcus, what's number 3?
Boys in the Boat.
That's right. And the top 2 that have been the top 2 for quite some time. Number 1. Now you know who your daddy is.
Remember Titans.
That's right. Gary, when I ask you.
Gladiator.
And then number 1 of all time, Gladiator, by a
We tied.
a significant margin.
You know why? Because when there's amazing
Because you're his
hot
brother-in-law
takes,
and he gave you
when
the
there's
one that
amazing
was
hot
attacked.
takes, people listen, they share, they say, "Hey, I've heard this take. I never thought of it."
I do.
Check
I
this
do honestly
Also,
think.
it's one of the greatest movies of all time, and Gladiator 2 came out this
I
year.
honestly think people listen to 2 episodes when they listen to the cover. They listen to whatever just came out, and then we talk about Gladiator enough where they go back and they listen to Gladiator, or they watch the movie,
Or they listen to the first one.
That's great.
That was a great episode though.
Cheers to 2024.
So to 2024, I am curious. I didn't tell you guys I was going to do this, so I'm just curious. What was your guys' favorite episode of 2024?
Ooh.
Favorite episode or favorite?
Or most memorable episode for you guys? Not. I guess we could talk about what we actually read. I actually go back and listen to the episode, have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this for the first time, this is your first episode. Congrats, welcome.
We're excited to have you.
We created this because we were guys that realized that after 12 years of building a families, we don't spend enough time with one another. So we wanted to create something that forced us to. So every Monday night we get together and record a podcast about a movie or book.
We were at the men's retreat last April. April.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
So almost a year ago.
Yeah. And topic came up, and it was like, oh, I think that's something. And it turned into something. Here we are. The cover.
It's funny when we originally had the idea of movies and books, but then we kind of got away from it. We're like, hey, we're funny. We can just do it. We can just do it on the fly. And remember when we tried to do that?
That was not.
It was bad.
Not great.
Rough.
It was.
We
did not air those.
We did our first couple of episodes.
Just on a topic.
On topics.
Tipping.
Yeah. Tipping. That's
Tipping
right.
was one.
Classical education. That was riveting.
All over the place. All over the place.
Let's just say this is better.
All right. So favorite episode.
It is better.
I enjoyed recording Gladiator so much.
Really?
Yeah, man, that was so much fun. In fact, I felt bad about my rating because the podcast of the movie was so great.
That's funny.
Oh, actually, I said the same thing about Casablanca.
Yeah. So I had two. Casablanca was one that underperformed. I'm guessing people just haven't watched that movie, at least from our listenership.
It
we have
seems
a lot
like
of
people listen to the episodes that
the
they
movies
watch.
that they watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised. I guess our generation isn't caught up yet. Like we have a lot of millennial listeners that I guess haven't seen Casablanca, but like I think that's one of our better episodes. I think we
I
really
loved
get into
that
some
episode.
stuff.
I think that memorable wise, I learned a ton from our Pirates episode because none of us felt like that was a great movie necessarily. It's an entertaining movie, but not a great movie. So we all rated it in that general way. And I think we all kind of felt like that episode was forced or kind of blah.
Yeah.
And then when I listened back to it, I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh yeah.
And
great episode. Doesn't have to be a good movie to be a good episode on the podcast.
yeah, so that was a real learning experience for I think us as a group of just kind of like, let's be ourselves, let's have fun, let's just hang out and talk about these movies in whatever way we think makes sense. And
I would
go from
say
there.
one that I constantly try. You ever have like maybe you played a really really great game in a sport, or you had a really really great season in a business and you keep trying to recreate it. The episode I keep trying to reach back and recreate is I felt like Boys in the Boat was so good. We got deep.
Yeah.
We asked really good questions. It flowed. That's when I look back on
It was a long episode.
It was.
It was long.
flowed.
It was our first really long episode, I think.
The two episodes that stand out at the end of the year that I think are funny and fast paced, but still like good podcast episodes. The first one's Die Hard.
Yeah.
Die Hard just is an all timer. And then what's the one we just did?
It's Wonderful Life.
Nope. Definitely
Braveheart.
not.
Braveheart.
Oh, Braveheart.
Braveheart
yeah.
was funny.
Braveheart was
I
a
just
good
listened to that
episode.
today, actually.
Braveheart got me in the last 2 hours of my 16-hour trip from Florida.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What
ever
was
done that?
your favorite book that we read this year? Did you guys have you
Boys
thought
in the
about
Boat
it?
for me.
Yeah, even though I'd already read it, it's just hard to beat Boys in the Boat.
But I will say, I didn't even read as many books as I normally read, but I felt like I got more out of my reading that last year than I.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
interesting. We've done almost all nonfiction.
Books?
Yeah.
They are all non
No, not Christmas Carol.
Okay. So one exception.
Not Christmas Carol. But I
Was
think
that a good episode? Did we sing in that episode?
No, he sang in
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Yeah, we did sing
Well,
Die Hard.
Some of you saying
I really, really want to release Brett's solo track because
I'll dig
that was
that
the
up.
funniest thing
I'll dig
pretty
that up.
good.
that I've seen or heard, I guess, in quite some time. I really liked the Sam Walton book.
Oh, yeah.
I had never read that before, and
Oh, yeah.
I think for me, that book it changed some of the ways that I was thinking about Walmart, about him, about their family. Even though he was this entrepreneur who really pushed a lot of limits, he did it in one of the more balanced ways that I've ever seen somebody that's achieved that kind of success.
Pretty
And
admirable.
not that there's very many people who have, but
Yeah, if you had to think of modern billionaires, and we're going to talk about one today
yeah,
with the Social Network,
yeah.
definitely don't have the same respectable rise to fame, power, and fortune as Sam Walton. I can't think of
No.
any of them.
They
And there's a lot of controversy.
Well, and don't involve the families in the same ways.
Yeah.
And there's divorce, and there's all these other things.
I guess
and,
Elon Musk is interesting. There's still a lot of drama. I guess he's a little bit more political than Sam was, but I'm okay with that, I guess.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos.
I would say,
but in terms of somebody that I would like to model myself after,
I
Yeah,
never
Sam's-
would have thought I would have said that until we read the book. To
Yeah.
your point, like I completely misread him.
it is an autobiography, but
Yeah, that's true. But he does do a good job of taking accounts from other people. He has like full, mini chapters dedicated to what other people said about him.
agreed. I thought that book, in terms of books that we read, probably surprised me the most.
Yeah.
And I would say it was my favorite.
I was entertained too. I mean,
Yeah.
it was awesome learning about that stuff. Rem, you better get your rear end
I'm ready.
All right. This episode, 2025. What are we covering?
On a fall night in 2003, Harvard undergrad and computer programming genius Mark Zuckerberg sits down at his computer and heatedly begins working on a new idea. In a fury of blogging and programming, what begins in his dorm room soon becomes a global social network and a revolution in communication. A mere 6 years and 500 million friends later, Mark Zuckerberg is the youngest billionaire in history. But for the entrepreneur, success leads to both personal and legal complications. This movie is The Social Network, PG-13 rating, 2 hours long, directed by David Fincher, written by Aaron Sorkin.
Oh man, you love Sorkin.
I love
You
Sorkin.
love Sorkin.
Sorkin touches it, it's gonna be awesome.
This movie's fantastic.
That's really good. What do we know going into it? For me, I don't remember the first time I watched it. It was years ago, but I knew Zuckerberg was a weirdo. He, at that point in time, I believe he had a really, really bad moment in front of a Washington, D.C. court that was pretty, he probably wishes never happened.
Which one you talk like when they were asking him how Facebook makes money and
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it wasn't that they even knew they were talking about. He just, you kind of saw this person that he's portrayed to be in this movie as like, oh wow, there is a side of that for sure.
the arrogance and condescension.
Yeah, yeah. And then also there's I feel like any interview he was in, it was just not great with people. So yeah, that's definitely all I knew.
It's funny, like he's quoted as saying he wasn't going to see the movie, but he ended up taking some staffers and actually going to see it. And he said that the movie was, he said parts of it were accurate, parts of it weren't, but the thing that they really nailed was his wardrobe. That was his quote. That was his only quote from the movie.
I can't believe he went and sat through it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would have.
Man.
Yeah, if it's about you,
Yeah.
you almost have to.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, obviously, do they need his? They don't need any of his permission to.
No way.
No.
I don't think so. No. This movie is based on the book The Accidental Billionaires, which I haven't read, but I ordered.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Accidental Billionaires.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is
about
it supposed to
more
be him
than
and
just
Eduardo?
or him?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's about him or him and Eduardo or
So I looked up Eduardo.
or if it's about the twins.
Well, the twins
because
are
if you
not
think
worth
about-
billions.
Huh?
The twins aren't worth billions, though.
Yeah, it's like 300.
Well, I thought they were like the Bitcoin billionaires. The Winklevi.
No.
I thought that they
I mean,
I thought that they took those settlements, invested real early in Bitcoin, and made
when I looked it
a
up, they
gazillion
weren't worth
dollars.
$1 billion, and maybe Google was wrong when I looked it up. But like Eduardo was worth $40 billion
holy smokes. Well,
because he got paid out
yeah,
not just the cash payout,
But
he also
stock.
has got stock options in Facebook.
he deserves that at least.
For sure.
If
Yeah,
this-
taking the
Garfield
chance
did a
in the
great job
beginning.
with that character.
Wow,
Dude.
So did that?
We'll
get
talk
him-
about Garfield.
He's such a good actor.
He's so.
He doesn't
freaking
get
good.
the love that
I
he deserves, man. He gets
He
almost
does,
made
though.
fun of
He does,
for his
though.
Spider-Man role, right?
No.
No?
I don't think he gets made fun of. I just think they thought there were better Spider-Men. You got Tobey Maguire, who was the first, and he's always going to be the first. And
Yeah.
then Tom Holland crushed it.
Yeah.
And the writing for Garfield was just different.
Got it.
But I loved Garfield. In fact, if you watch
I like those
the last
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
movies.
where they're all together, Garfield steals the show for me.
He's the best actor of
absolutely.
the three of them.
Tick Tick Boom. Have you guys seen him in
So
that?
good.
Very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's about
It might be my February pick.
It's about the writing of Rent. Is that or what's no?
Well, actually, it's about. Isn't that guy's name Larson? The guy that wrote Rent.
Okay.
So he plays the guy that wrote Rent.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's about him writing his first musical.
Yes. While he's still in school.
His
In
first
Chicago,
musical.
New York?
He's not in school anymore.
Oh,
He's
okay.
he's just living in New
It's
York.
cool, man.
Is it Team America that rewrites?
Dude,
the Rent thing?
you've never seen Tick Tick Boom, Remington?
No,
You
but I
would
have seen
love
Team
that
America.
movie, and it is Andrew Garfield's best performance.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
It's he
this-
learned
is
how to
this pre-
sing
Is this
before the movie.
pre-Spider-Man or post-Spider-Man?
What?
This movie.
This is pre-Spider-Man.
Okay, pre-Spider. Well, killer job.
By the way, I have no idea if that's true.
It's not. I don't think it's pre-Spider-Man.
You're just saying things confidently, man.
What'd you know before you watched it?
I think I saw this in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did it come out? What did I say?
I knew that
2006?
I was
No, that could
an
be right.
early
2010.
adopter to Facebook.
This movie came out in 2010.
This is crazy that it came out in 2010 because
That's
that's
quick,
pretty much
dude.
when I joined Facebook.
Dude, that's quick. That's
2 years after I joined Facebook.
wild.
I joined Facebook in 2006.
I joined Facebook in 2006 as well.
It's before.
Confirmed it was before Spider-Man.
Ah.
I joined Facebook in 2006, and then I misused it as a branch manager in 2008.
Misused
Got
it.
and
kicked
got
off?
kicked off, and I had to create a new Facebook.
It's probably good,
Dude.
to be honest. Like, I deleted my early Facebook. There
a
was
bad move.
things
Mine's
that
not
should
deleted,
not be in the, on
and
the
there's
internet.
some things that shouldn't be on there.
So go look it up.
Feel
Marcus
free.
Mangus.
Go for it.
Email us at thecoverpod@gmail.com.
Yep.
Well,
You get the real me.
What'd you know going into it, Rem? Remember the first time you watched it?
Just that it was about Facebook. I always admired the rise. I always wondered what made Facebook successful and MySpace not. I love Sorkin. I will watch anything Sorkin does. And this is, I mean, the ensemble. I thought Jesse Eisenberg nailed Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, I don't know if he nailed the character, but his character was very awesome.
Yep.
Justin Timberlake is so
This is his
hateable.
best role.
Oh, really? I don't think so.
What do you think he's better in?
I think he's awesome in Alpha Dog. I think, have you seen Parker?
I've not seen.
There's a movie called Parker that I think is his best acting.
Really?
There's one that I
he's
thought
really good in
There's
this.
One that I thought he was amazing in. Is it called Just in Time or something?
Oh,
Where-
In Time.
In
In
Time.
Time. That's a
Everybody
cool
wears their
Yeah.
time on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that's
That's
a good
pretty.
movie.
He does. I mean, he has some. I think he does have some super solid performances. This one is really.
He's a
good.
he's a
He's a
good
very
actor.
good
He's a
actor.
great singer. Yeah.
I thought Alpha Dog, he was really good. But
I don't know if
Palmer.
I've seen Alpha Dog.
I'm not Parker. Palmer,
Oh
2021.
wait! Is it about the
He basically
little?
adopts a little boy.
Yes.
That is some good acting.
Yeah, he kind of plays a. I don't want to. Is he kind of white trash? Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of prison.
Yeah. Plays
Yeah.
a different role. Definitely different than him. Yeah.
3 nominations, no awards, but he was nominated.
Yeah.
You know.
Palmer. Yeah. And I don't know if that was in theaters. Was that a COVID one that came out on Netflix or something like that, or was it?
Yes, that was straight to Netflix, I believe.
That was great. 30
Apple TV.
30-second. Apple TV was offering free
Oh,
Apple TV this weekend.
The other girl in that was the she was in Ted Lasso, which is, she was Keely Jones was also
nice.
in that. Yeah.
I don't. The trailer park girlfriend mom situation. Sorry, PTSD. Anyway, he. Never mind. We're gonna move on. 30-second synopsis. Slam poetry first. Here we go. Young Zuckerberg, just as cringy. More like 34B. Hacking Harvard. Face smash. Winklevoss twins. Eduardo just wants to be Mark's friend. Mark, as the office girl would say, isn't actually an a-hole. He's just trying really hard to be an a-hole. Let's sue him. No. Let's sue him. No. Because we are gentlemen of Harvard. You thought he was the only one who would think that was stupid? Facebook me. Erica hasn't heard of us. We must expand. Sean Parker,
These
Mark
are all
Zuckerberg's
quotes.
leech.
Just the whole thing of quotes.
Side note, Facebook doesn't become Facebook without him. Across the pond. Screw it. Let's gut the frickin' nerd. $500,000. Who's Eduardo Saverin? When not changing your relationship status goes wrong. Go home, Sean. Diluted stock. Settlements for jocks. All to still care about Erica's friend request. Doc.
Settlements for jobs.
I'm good.
Okay, so for the first time, I'm really thinking about their perspective of cutting Eduardo out. It would be really annoying if you're paying out that much money to someone who's just not on board with your vision.
Totally.
Yeah.
It would be really annoying if he doesn't get it, and he didn't get it. He
didn't
didn't.
get it.
Well, he was small time. I mean,
Small time. He was doing it just like everyone else did.
yeah.
And this wasn't an idea like anyone else had.
Yeah, well, and
he would not get on board.
And Teal was like a real investor,
Yeah.
and that is not something that Eduardo would have been able
Sean
to pull
Parker,
in.
as much as I view him in many ways as like I think we all know guys like Sean Parker, that it's just like all big talk. It's never my fault. Everybody's out to get me. Mm-hmm. He really did get it done. Like Facebook does not become anywhere near what it is without him. Like
it's who you know.
And the way he really coached.
He's also super freaking brilliant.
He coached Mark on how to think about it differently and how not to take the money grab. And I don't know how much of it's true real life versus the movie, but the stories.
Well, I'll fight.
We cover the movie, but I have a cool Sean Parker, some fun Sean Parker.
Justin Timberlake met Sean Parker, and he, just like any actor, says, "I want to know the guy I'm playing." And Sean Parker's quote to Timberlake was, "Well, you can meet me, but it's not going to matter because the Sorkin version of me is nothing like me." So he read the script, doesn't like his portrayal apparently in the movie.
Got it.
Well,
so it's probably pretty spot on.
And Parker, Parker now is essentially almost like a conscientious objector to Facebook, because he feels like it hit on this human emotion or element or vulnerability that it shouldn't have done.
So
he speaks out against it, even though he's still an owner.
Did he sell his 6%?
Yeah, I was going to say, is he still?
Probably not.
Yeah, I was going to say. It's an easy position to take as he's making billions.
But that's just what I read on Wikipedia.
Dude, 6%.
Because I was like, I wonder what he's
billions. 6%.
So what was?
Well, and he had other big wins.
What was the Napster play? What was the whole point? Just to make a big enough win so that the next one actually pays you, or does he really not care about money?
Well,
Dude,
he would have personally made money with it. It's not like he went bankrupt
on Napster. How do you make money on advertising? Like it wasn't gonna the amount.
No, he made money from the angel investors
on Napster.
Mm-hmm.
I really do believe and I don't know, maybe this is my perspective. Him and Mark's, the line that brought them together was they both did things to get a girl's attention. Really, I believe.
Well,
that.
it's great writing, one way or the other.
It was really interesting when he said, "Did you ever go back and meet that, or did you get that, or what's that girl up to now?"
Do you ever think about it?
I don't know.
No, he was like, "What are you talking about, dude?"
Because but that was it.
That was the difference.
That was the difference. Mark still was.
Yes. Marcus,
is that true? By the way,
what are we drinking tonight?
I couldn't find that. By the way, did we talk
three
about
different questions?
Did we talk about what we were drinking in the last episode?
No, kind of. I mentioned it a few times. We're drinking Appletinis.
Appletinis.
This is what they drink when they meet. This is the convergence
drink Sean Parker used to lubricate the room. Yeah. Cheers.
They're tasty.
It's all right.
It's tastier than Medusa.
Madeira.
Marcus,
it is tastier than Madeira.
9 words coming up. Whenever you're ready.
9 words. Okay. Computer nerd steals concept, creates Facebook, changes the world.
Oh wow! Mm-hmm. You're getting good. Getting real nice.
At some point, you can't say you're getting good, and he's just good.
Getting better. I mean, I didn't know you could even get better.
So would he have always would it have mattered if he would have built the Harvard connection? Couldn't he have just also built Facebook after that because it just wasn't ever going to be as good as what he can come up with? Or would it have mattered? If he would have built the Harvard connection, it would have actually been proven that he basically ripped off the idea.
Well, that's essentially the lawyer's point. Is like, did you know that they came from a family of means? Why didn't you just ask that?
The money to back it?
Because they would have. They would have backed it in a heartbeat. But he was like, I didn't want to partner with them. Mm-hmm. Eduardo was my best friend. He was the president of the investor club or whatever.
So if you're Mark, let's assume that the movie is depicted perfectly. Let's assume
we're just gonna have to assume that.
So let's just assume,
other than whatever fun facts you give us at the end.
I'm sure there's things that are off. I'm sure there's probably truths that we'll never know. But for the sake of the
covering
argument,
the movie. Yeah.
We're covering the movie. Let's assume it's all true. Would you have done anything differently? Like if you're Zuckerberg, you don't like these twins, you don't have the same vision. They're gonna hold you back. You're not gonna build Facebook with them. You're gonna build MySpace. Would you do what he did?
Me personally, I probably wouldn't. But I'm not wired the same way that Zuckerberg is.
I'd have a really hard time sleeping at night.
Cutting them out?
Yeah, I'd have a really hard. Now, he's able to justify it. Why? Because he says I didn't use any of their code. But that's his brand, like that's his specialty. Maybe that is in his mind. That really does make all the difference in the world. I don't know.
It is fascinating though because he gets their attention by creating something that is kind of used in the coding of his new thing. So like they're like, hey, you created Face Smash.
Yep.
We want you to do this that's similar. And so like he does one, they're like, hey, you should do two. And he's like, actually from one, I'm going to skip all the way to three. It's kind of, I don't know. It's interesting. It's gray.
It's gray. It's super gray. I can see why they were really angry.
Well, and to the point, there's already MySpace and Friendster. Like this is not an original idea.
Well, this is the argument that Mark makes at one point, and he's like, I think when they get the cease and desist letter, he's like, just because you invented the chair, does that mean that every single person that makes a chair going forward has to be sued?
Yep.
Well, no, not necessarily. It's not like they invented social media. It was the IP ended up being essentially the exclusivity, right? That's what the
Harvard,
that's what
Harvard.edu.
That's what the IP was, and then.
Yeah.
What the lawyer tells him at the end is like, dude, if you go to court, you are so screwed. So you might as well just pay up because in the end, it's chump change.
So the Winklevoss twins got
ticket.
$30 million.
No, dude, I thought it was like 386 or something like that.
At the end of the movie, it was 300 and some million.
I thought so. Wish we had somebody to look it up. He probably won't.
Their buddy got
So it was not disclosed what Eduardo made,
was not,
but
Eduardo one wasn't disclosed. The other one,
Google tells you that he's worth $40 billion, so he got paid.
Oh yeah,
man, that's wild.
And deserved it.
But still, the pain of being cut out of that company.
Oh yeah,
and backstabbed. No dollar fixes that.
Yeah, by your friend. Now that was my question. The first time they had Eduardo come in and sign the papers, do you think Mark knew?
Yes,
you do
for sure. Because he said, "Did you know?"
Oh yeah, Mark knew.
He literally asked him point blank, "Did you know?"
And what's he said? What's his response?
He basically gave I think his response was, "You were in New York." He basically admits.
And he's also saying like, "You're the financial head of this company, and you didn't even read what you signed."
Yes.
He's like, "You didn't even read what you signed. You're the financial head of this company."
Which, by the way,
yeah.
What is an interesting quote? One of his quotes is, "I thought they were my lawyers."
Yeah.
Well, I would have thought that too.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's what I kept coming back to when I was like, do I feel bad for any of these people? Like the Winklevoss twins, besides that they're like douchey and portrayed douchey.
I don't think they are.
I don't think
they're douchey.
I don't think they're douchey either.
By the way, there's a crazy fun fact on how they did these twins because it's Army Hammer.
Dude, this was so funny.
I didn't know
I can't believe we didn't save this for the podcast. I'm so frustrated.
I'm like, dude, their casting for this movie was amazing. I'm going on and on about all these. And I'm like, yeah, and then the Winklevoss twins. And
he's like, they casted the Winklevoss twins perfectly. This is what he says.
It's the same guy.
I go, you know that's the same guy,
I wait
right?
for you. I don't look anything
So
up.
when you before we started this podcast, did you ever go to IMDb while you're watching a movie?
Again,
no.
Brett
The answer's no.
didn't watch,
the answer's
but
no.
I didn't.
Brett didn't even watch movies. He's watching all these movies for the first time.
I'm just telling you, I did.
So
but
Army Hammer, this is a crazy fact. Like I'm gonna look up exactly who it was, but essentially,
for the record, I think the goal was to portray them as mildly douchey. Just to be fair, I really do believe that.
I mean, I guess it depends on your definition, but
I don't think
they really tried to.
I think Sean Parker's douchey.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, completely.
Army Hammer
I think
is not
Mark
douchey.
Zuckerberg
No, I'm not
douchey.
calling.
He's a tool. They're tools. I think they're a tool.
Oh,
they're like
Very big difference.
How much?
65 million
Okay,
is what
I
they
was
were paid
300
out.
million.
So I was right. Okay. So the
You
Winkle.
said 15.
It was you said. I think you said 30.
Oh, okay.
This is double what you said.
Well, there's two of them. Unless there was just one of them.
Which is the
playing
best quote in the
twins.
movie. I don't need that. I'm 6'5", 220, and there's two of me. That's a great quote. So listen to this. The Winklevoss twins were both played by Armie Hammer. However, Ralph Lauren model Josh Pence played one of them strictly from the neck down. His face was digitally replaced with Hammer's to make the appear identical. So they are acting in the movie the whole time, and then they literally digitally replace his head, which is crazy. I didn't know they did that.
You can tell if you know.
Really?
So I was watching it, and I was like, oh.
Like at what point? Because I was looking for it too.
It's
You can tell the body movements
it's
are different.
2010 CGI, and
Dude, here's
it's not
what's
the
dumb,
same as
though.
it is now.
Have you guys seen Captain America?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Dude,
That's so
they
bad.
do a horrible
It's
job.
so bad.
And
It's like they're
that's
trying to be bad.
15 years later, what
Yeah.
are they doing?
I don't. So,
What are you talking about?
Captain America, when he comes out of that, when he's supposed to be small.
Yeah, but it's not 15 years later. They did
It's
Captain
15
America at the same time they did this movie.
Captain America's that old?
Yeah.
What year did Captain America come out? Nate.
1 year later.
Oh, wow.
Okay, but listen,
It's
it was so bad. It was nothing compared
It
to the
looks kinda
Social
like
Network.
Just because you watched it 15 years
It
later.
looks it looks like an SNL skit. It looks like an SNL skit.
Listen to this fun fact. The two spent 10 months in twin boot camp to match
10
each other's
months?
Whoa.
to match each other's subtle movements.
Whoa.
Like that is commitment. You know what gets you to commit to that? Aaron
Money.
Sorkin. And
So
money.
wait, does that
But like,
does the
you-
Ralph
you're not going to
It's-
commit
it's the
to.
art. It's-
You're not
So-
going to commit to
Time out.
something unless you know the movie.
So there's a Ralph Lauren model that's playing it, and they're like, "Hey, you're a model. We're gonna use everything but your face." Number one. Number two,
That's true.
does he say the lines
say
in the
the
moment?
lines.
No. Well, that's
Well, I'm sure. I mean, he might deliver the line, but they're not going to use it.
no. I know.
They're gonna-
So that's
they're
the
gonna
part
go
that
back.
you can tell that there's just some points where it looks
Like
like
a puppet?
Like if you look, they're always offset.
Oh yeah,
In-
they're not.
in
They're
like
not talking to each other.
they're always
He's off there in the corner.
They're always offset in a strange way.
Yeah.
So that's the filmography part.
That's
that If
interesting.
you watch it
I-
again,
yeah, you're
and
right.
you know,
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
But dude, I've watched this
respect it.
movie.
Yeah,
I've watched this movie 4 or
it doesn't
5 times.
bug me in
Had
the
no
slightest.
idea.
I
that
clearly
that's how they
had
did
no
that.
idea. Tool is a better word. I'll give you that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What Office Girl? What's her name?
Karen.
Karen. What? Yeah, Karen. Because I just kept putting Office Girl in my notes.
the girlfriend.
No.
Is she in the office?
The lawyer
Hold on.
that is from The Office.
I'm not an Office fan.
Karen.
I don't.
That's so strange.
No,
her name is
Karen-
Rashida Jones.
Oh yes.
She has
Okay.
she has-
okay.
she has-
That's
she-
who we're
She
talking
has
about.
empathy
Got
for
it.
Mark.
She's the
She
lawyer.
likes-
She's the lawyer. She's the associate lawyer.
That her name's not Karen though in the movie.
in The Office. It is.
In the Office, it is.
Sorry, losing you.
It's
again.
like when we called him Carl Winslow on Die Hard.
Yeah.
So what I learned is
I thought that was
you
funny,
gotta
though.
get everything.
Because I was in on the joke.
You gotta get everything in writing. Absolutely, and that's why I'm like, I get it's unfortunate, but the Winklevoss twins, for all of their, I guess, wisdom, didn't get anything in writing.
Well,
with
not
Mark
only
at all.
that, but he also says like, if you were the inventors of Facebook, you would have invented Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, I remember very vividly having a conversation with my uncle at like Thanksgiving or Christmas or a get together at one point in time, probably in 2017, right? I was like, man, why don't they just create a store? But it's not a store. All it is delivery. It's a grocery store that all it is delivery. And you've got trucks, and then you can just pull from the shelves. You could design it all differently, but your employees are just pulling from the shelves, and then all it is delivery. And he's like, oh, that's a great idea. And it's like, why don't we just do it? Like, what would it take to do that? How much money? Those kinds of
So
things.
your point is,
And then it never went anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably would have gotten killed
yeah,
come COVID when everybody else did that.
yeah,
But the idea was obviously a good one because now, I don't even think my wife knows what a grocery store looks like because she just has everything. They either shop for her and
But your point is, people have ideas and they don't follow through. And the person
100%.
that does
Yeah.
wins.
100%. Which is why I think, Remington, you identify more closely with Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Whereas I identify a little more closely probably with the Winklevi.
Well, I don't think I necessarily identify with Zuckerberg as much as other people because I sold. I didn't actually. And so here's what I was up against. And if you don't know my story, I created a magazine called Real Producers that franchised. So we're in 140 markets. But I partnered with people who were already in those markets.
Right.
And the reason I did that is I didn't have a pot to piss in.
Yeah.
I had no money. I had an idea and I could sell. So I went to them and basically they were sharks. I'm like, hey, I got this idea and I'm going to do it. Just bankroll me.
Yeah.
But since they bankrolled me, it's their product.
It's theirs.
So, like I've always said this, like it's gotten to me to where I'm at, but I don't think it's the thing that I'm going to go down for. Like, I think there's going to be something bigger that's coming because I've seen how to do it now.
I guess my point Eduardo, and you're going to dilute their shares?
No, if anything, I'd be Eduardo.
It's the opposite.
If anything, I'm Eduardo in this one.
Yeah, But by that same token, it's like that got Eduardo started.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's worth $40 billion. He can't complain.
His family probably had money too.
Yeah.
Well,
they're at Harvard. Yeah, I mean, he
not
was the one
only
that
at
was
Harvard, but
bankrolling.
in that specific club.
Did I read this right? Did I listen to this right? He made $300,000 in a summer.
No.
Yes. No, you didn't read it right. That was in the movie.
In the movie, yeah. So
he made $300,000 in a summer.
The summer before all of this happened, basically. Mark's kind of.
I think he sold Cutco.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. Actually.
No, he was betting on oil futures, and then she's like, it's like
she was
betting
trying.
On oil. Yeah, he loves meteorology.
Yeah, that was Sorkin writing right there.
Well, the whole
smart
thing, it's
Sorkin
just
writing.
Quick. Smart,
dude.
The whole movie.
Jump,
and by the way, you need an actor who can do that. That's why Jesse Eisenberg was perfect for this because he's super smart.
Conversation he's having at the bar from jump, you're just like, I can't keep up with this guy.
I've seen this movie. I had to put captions on because it was moving so fast.
Well, the other thing, especially when you're trying to write down quotes.
Yeah.
I had to pause it multiple times, and I've seen this movie, I don't know, 4 or 5 times at least. The other thing that I think,
competition, Marcus. Everything's a freaking competition with this guy.
Yeah, it is. That's true. I like winning. The other thing that gets you from the jump is the soundtrack. It's like 6 notes.
The boom,
Boom,
boom. Oh.
boom, boom, boom. You guys, that didn't get you? Like,
what movie did you watch? I just remember it was constant dubstep.
No, dude.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
No. Okay, fine. You're crazy. I don't know what Oscars did this win, because that soundtrack rocks.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Brilliant.
I don't remember
that. It's like
that.
6 notes.
And so it definitely won an Oscar.
It should.
Hold on. Well, look, three Oscars. Well, I'll give you one right now. Aaron Sorkin, winner. Best achievement in film editing, winner. Best achievement in music written for motion pictures.
Let's
original score.
Frickin' go.
Marcus, you're going to Cannes.
You're going to Cannes.
You're going to Cannes.
I need to go back and listen. I don't know what you're talking about. But there was a lot of fast-paced party scenes where they were like just loud.
Yeah, that's
music.
not the soundtrack though. That's the scene.
Interesting. I don't remember that.
It's like very
like eerie,
collegial.
Oh, okay.
They're at
Harvard. The part where he finds out that he created Facebook and he's listening to the acapella group and he's like tripping all over the place.
So funny.
That's a great scene.
So funny. I think that's the Whiffin. Is that the Whiffin Poofs or is that Yale? That might be Yale.
Well, but so what you're talking about, the filming is smart. I wrote this down. I love the time jumps. I love how they're like jumping back and forth between the lawsuit and this and telling the story.
I love watching movies that make me pay attention.
Yeah.
I don't know why I identified it with it so much, but when he's in the computer lab, he's falling asleep, and his buddy, that it's the only appearance he makes in the whole movie, walks in. He's like, Mark, the girl, you have chem with her. Do you know if she's single or whatever?
Yeah.
And he's like, what do you think? People just walk around with a plaque that says single or in a relationship, and then he just freaks out and runs through the snow in his flip-flops. I don't know why, but then he's just like, he has to get to it. I get in those modes where I feel like
I have to get to my computer.
I have to get to it.
I have to write this down.
Yes. I can't wait. This can't go tomorrow. Like, I'm in it right now. I read a book by, you guys know who Rick Rubin is?
Mm-hmm.
One of the most, one of the most successful, you just call him a producer. He talks about that. Like when it hits, you gotta just go. Keep rolling. I love that book.
So that status though, I don't know if you guys remember, but when I was in college, like when they like that was the big thing on Facebook. That's what everyone talked about. Like you changing your status, in a relationship or out of, or it's complicated. Like that was a big deal.
Yeah, and I don't even think
it probably still is with that crowd, a certain crowd.
Well, no, I mean not really, because it's millennials and up that are on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean you're right. You're right. Which is still a big deal with that crowd though.
Yeah, that's true. I guess
It's
just
so
the longer
crazy.
I'm married and the more things I have going on in my life, the less I'm on Facebook.
But Facebook me, Facebook official, like those are all real.
Yeah. I also remember specifically like how addictive it was. So I got it in 2006, right as soon as I got my EDU address.
Yeah, when did that change from needing an EDU?
I don't know, but whenever it had to have been 2007 because
by the time I got to college,
because I remember setting one up for Jessica, and she didn't have an EDU, so it had to be 2007. But I do remember, I think it started in like 2004 or something like that, and I had to have that EDU, and I remember when I got the EDU. And I remember when I got Facebook, and they were very close in success. It was the summer before I went to college. And then I also remember, like, you used to have to go to people's pages.
Yep, there's no
that
timeline.
were your friends.
Fun fact, the creator of the timeline, Andrew Bosworth, sold Cutco in college.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
the timeline was after the wall, because I remember when he said the wall.
Yeah,
the wall was a big deal.
So I remember when they had I remember them creating all of these things, and so as they talk
you
about
could write on somebody's wall.
You write on someone's wall.
You write on their wall. Well, and like
which you can still do.
You can still do
but
that.
It's just different.
But the funny thing is like if you go back and look at things that you wrote on people's walls,
dude, that's what I said. I deleted
cow.
I deleted my old Facebook. It's gone because there were no rules. It was the Wild West, and college kids are not PC.
Well, what's hilarious? We used to like if somebody left their computer up and went to class. We would change everything. We would change their profile picture. We would change.
Suddenly, Marcus is in the men.
We would change their gender. We would change what they're interested in.
Gone.
I once changed somebody's birthday, and they didn't like. I changed it for like 2 weeks later, and they didn't realize that it changed, and it was hilarious because everybody's wishing them a happy birthday
on the wrong day.
On the complete wrong day.
I forgot about all this.
Yeah.
But then the timeline came up, and I just remember I was like, I feel like I'm Facebook stalking all the time now. Like it was weird
because it was in your
we
feed?
used to call it was Facebook stalking, where you would have to like go to somebody.
There was no feed.
Then
That's
you'd look
right.
at their wall. There was no feed.
There was no feed.
And I remember when the feed came up, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember when people would say, "Oh, you're a creeper." I'm like, "No, you're on Facebook," but they would like call you a creeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, no, they would call you a creeper if you're like, all right, so you're kind of interested in this girl. You go to her profile and you're looking through all of her pictures.
And you like it all?
And then you accidentally like one that's like 4 years old. And you're like, oh, no. Well, if I unlike it, do they still get the notification? Or do they get 2?
By the way, if you go creeping on me and you like one of my photos from 2006, I'm gonna know.
Yeah, it'll be obvious because no one's liked your photos since 2006.
That's true.
Oh my gosh, this is it. Does
100%.
100%. This does take you down memory lane of Facebook when you watch this movie, though.
Yeah,
especially because we're the age that it was like right after he did all this.
For sure.
How is he? 40? I mean, he's got to be only a couple of years older.
So
than
he
us.
was in college in 2003. So
let's say he
was in a bar. Let's say he's 20.
No, he was too young though.
Okay, so let's say he's a freshman, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I think so.
So while you're on that,
he's not much older than
so the
us.
scene
he's
where
probably LeBron's age. He's probably 40, 41.
How old is he? 41. So the scene where they're talking about what he did before all this, because no one talks about that, but he created essentially an app that was kind of like Spotify.
Yeah.
It was basically like a algorithm that helps you figure out your favorite music.
Yes.
And
He
she
gave it away
asked
for
him,
free.
Yeah, she asked him, why'd you give it away for free? And he shrugs. Why? Why does he shrug? In that moment, you're thinking, okay, because he's a brilliant guy that doesn't care about money. That can't be true, because now it's a empire, like and it's smart money. Like everything's a money play.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that him shrugging means he didn't care about money. His shrugging was like, I here's my take. I want to show people how smart I am until I'm ready to capitalize on it.
He wanted to be able to tell people that he told Microsoft no.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least the character in this
the Bill
movie.
Gates thing.
What did they say? What did he say?
That is so funny.
What did he say they offered him? It was millions.
I don't know if they gave him... No.
Microsoft offered him millions in the beginning infant stages of Facebook.
No. For the app.
They said,
the
did somebody
thing
want to
Oh,
buy
you're
it?
right.
And
You're
he
right. It
said
was like $3 million
Microsoft.
or something like that.
Yeah. So I think you're right though. He just wanted to be able.
By the way, I got to make a correction. He's not 41 years old. He's 40 years, 7 months, and 23 days old. Producer Nate is on one right now. He's getting us very specific facts. We are accurate on this podcast. Never is there a time where we are inaccurate.
Wow.
Stat boy Nate.
Get that man a microphone. Jeez.
Okay, so Sean Parker opening scene. I jot down Justin Timberlake crushes it.
Yeah.
That's why we're drinking Appletini.
He really got serious about acting for a minute. Like, I asked Riley, my wife, I'm like, why did he stop doing movies? She said his music career kind of had a second wind. Like had a rebirth.
Dude, after that Netflix special he did, it was when I watched his Netflix special, which was years ago, he almost framed, and maybe this was a move, but he framed it as this is the last hurrah. But the Netflix special,
really, he was bringing Timberlake back.
He was bringing Sexy back. It was amazing. And by the way, did you go to the show? He was here in Indy.
No.
Everyone I heard that went to the show said it was the best show they've ever seen.
Really?
So
I bet
like
he puts on a show.
Oh, for sure. And it's not just like singing, like he is getting a workout
He's an entertainer
for 2 hours at a time, constant movement. If you watch Netflix, if he does that 30 nights, I mean, it's just insane.
And he like rips off people's bras.
Oh, I forgot about that. Where were you?
Hey-o.
Yeah, dude. YouTube, Justin Timberlake Super Bowl. That was why her face. She's just
no. That's
that was
your take.
She knew.
She knew.
Wait a second. You think it was planned?
Oh,
if anything, he didn't know.
No way.
Hold on.
Time out.
So you're saying
you think Janet Jackson knew?
I 100% know she did. She had jewelry
She knew
that she wanted seen. You said Justin Timberlake didn't know. He's the one that ripped it.
I said, if
you think
anything,
Janet didn't know. I'm the only one who knows that everyone knew.
I said, if anything, he didn't know. She definitely knew.
How would he not know? He ripped it off.
It was an accident.
He's being serious right now. What are you looking up over there?
He's looking it up. He's actually watching the YouTube video right now.
So I googled Janet Jackson nip slip, and you know what it says? The incident. It said the incident, sometime referred to as Nipplegate or Janet Gate. Oh wow.
So anyway, that revived Justin Timberlake's career.
The nip slip.
Oh gosh. I'm not gonna find the answer.
Yeah, I wouldn't Google that. Don't look at the images.
Find the answer.
So anyway, he's not done acting. I don't know where you got that. He's he's acting.
A number of commentators opinionated that it was planned a publicity stunt.
Duh.
100%
my
it was
gosh.
planned.
Brett,
By the way, I wasn't saying that he didn't know. I said if
anything, he didn't know, but Janet definitely knew.
Yes.
Marcus, but think about that statement.
No, he was trying to say that Janet didn't.
So you're just being obtuse. You're just being ridiculous.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. I'm with you, Megas.
Yeah.
Anyway.
100%.
Anyway, this, by the way, if there's ever been a show off the rails, is this show.
100%.
100%.
Oh, wow. Time out. Timberlake was informed of the new choreography by Jackson's team 20 minutes before showtime. So, Marcus, I think you're right. I think he didn't know.
So that's interesting. He didn't know that would happen.
Hey, here's the new move. Grab my nipple. And he's just like, all right.
We are being drastically moved on by the producer. So here's my question that I said on What Made You Think. Do you guys know your SAT score?
Oh my God. Okay, so the best score you can get is a, they changed
1600.
No.
Just go 1600.
Okay. So, but what's the best score you can get now? What's the 20?
2400 if you
it
do
was
the-
like around our time. It was like 2400, but that was the writing part that they got rid of. So just the the math and the.
I want to say mine was around 1400 of those two.
Okay.
I don't know mine. 12 to 13 probably.
Yeah.
What was yours?
1420.
14 is probably high.
It's crazy because I'm the smartest one here. How did
I
that?
really do feel like it was 1400.
It's funny that you're so smart but such a bad student.
So I wasn't a bad student.
Maybe you're not a bad student.
I
Just quit. You're a quitter.
I'm okay. I had like a
He's a quitter.
3.7 or 3.8 in high school.
Why did you quit?
I literally had this epiphany that I'm only doing this because I think my parents are gonna be disappointed if I don't go to school. So I called my aunt and I said that, and she goes, "Absolutely not," and I dropped out the next day.
So why? That's I accept that answer. That's smart. I get
I
it.
accept you.
But why did you not want to finish? You wanted to just get into the business world immediately?
I was like, why? I don't need these classes. Why
You don't
am I
need
doing
it.
This?
You don't
I
need
don't
it.
need it. Why am
YouTube.
I was
How-
paying for the whole thing myself.
Did you feel like you were going to slow down on like education in general? Did you feel like you were going to get it from the real world?
Here's what's really happened. I went to Grand Rapids to visit my Uncle Dan, and we are hanging out, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave school, and I'm just gonna go after this Cutco thing. You know what? If it doesn't work out, I can always go back. And he's like, dude, screw that. If you're gonna leave, if you're gonna drop out, you freaking go for it. He's like, no, don't say, oh, I can go back. Like, if you're gonna do that then.
It's like Dave Grohl. Like, you better be good.
I was like, holy cow, you're right. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. So, yeah, that's probably the...
Look at you now, DVM. For what? 12 years?
Dude, crazy.
What's the average?
2013. Yeah.
What's the average?
Average time?
Once you get to DVM, the number goes up.
It goes way up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's been some... there's some people that never get that M. There's some that DVC and then it really doesn't come to fruition. But
well, that's the point.
I will say it's the easiest position to probably hang on to without
long term.
producing. Yeah,
with families.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Well, I think this actually goes. One of the notes that I had down is when the Winklevi go into the president of Harvard, he says to them,
Oh man, that's such an uncomfortable scene.
he says to them, everyone at Harvard is inventing something.
Mm-hmm.
They think that creating a job is better than getting a job. And, you talked earlier, Rem, to the culture at Harvard or the
prestige
that it has. I think that that's part of the magic that Sorkin hits on here is if you go to Harvard, not only do you have the connections and things, but there's a responsibility and an almost inevitability that you probably feel. I feel like I got that at a small. We can make fun of Wabash all we want, but there's been there's a small school. I'm able to know a lot of the alums, and a lot of them are really successful. And when you go back to these alumni events and you talk to successful alum after successful alum after successful alum, you're like, crap, dude.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically 10
Proof in the
years ago,
pudding.
I was like, man, I'm struggling right now, but I'm looking at those guys and they're telling me that I'm in a really good spot. Okay, I'm going to be just fine.
That's cool.
There's a culture piece to Harvard that is probably a huge key to their success.
So I've got to think you guys have heard the adage of first, best, or only. So the first university in America is Harvard.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about is last episode.
They were also the only.
Right, at the time. So they're the first, best, and only. For a long time, that matters. Like, how long can you be all three? So, but last episode, Devil in the White City, we talked about like different universities, how Daniel Burnham, who didn't graduate from either, couldn't even get into either Yale or Harvard, got honorary diplomas. He chose to attend Harvard. And so like Harvard has created in the minds of Americans that even at the elite level,
I'd say internationally.
Yeah. Yale, Princeton, these names that are just revered, Harvard still stands on top of them. It's just crazy. And I'd have to think that the thing that it has is that it was the first. I mean, maybe they are better.
That's a big part of it.
Maybe they are better. I don't know. I mean, maybe perception is just that they're better.
Malcolm Gladwell would argue that it's perception.
Perception?
Yeah.
And perception matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because if I get hired because I went to Harvard and not Princeton,
then it did
then
work.
it matters.
Then it did. Yeah. Then it did work. Yeah,
so you created something out of nothing, and I mean, it's time to stop being annoyed by that and just embrace it and do something about it.
Well, yeah, I think that's my point too. Is like you have to see like how do you create those kinds of cultures?
Yes. How do you create that? If that's what it is, then do it.
Like, I'm not convinced that Zuckerberg is Harvard, right? But the Winklevi are.
Yes.
And
yeah,
they're like, they take being a Harvard gentleman seriously, you know,
which is admirable.
And they took it very seriously. Whereas, you know, at some point, Zuckerberg essentially says like, "Are you kidding me right now? I could buy that entire block and then I'd own the Phoenix Club or whatever." You know, like. I'm not worried about them. I'm bigger than them. I don't really care.
Which, by the way, that answer proved that he cared.
I think he did too. And I think that the reason he picked Harvard was because he cared about status. Right?
Your point about them being Harvard and him not, I hadn't considered that.
What's the first scene?
Yeah.
It's the first scene. Like, they're rowers.
Yep.
Did you guys think about Boys in the Boat the entire episode when they're like...
hidden gems.
Yeah, for a second. But you know what was weird? The director's obsession with those weird focuses during the rowing.
David Fincher.
It was so odd.
Oh, is this Fincher?
Yeah.
He just...
Because he did what? Fight Club?
Yes.
The way he
I
shot
think so.
those, it was almost like, okay, we got this new camera. It does some amazing things. We need to create a shot to use it almost. It was strange. But what I wanted to add to what you were saying about twins. Oh, I think we were talking about Sam Walton earlier. If they were smart, yeah, they would have got their money from Zuck, whatever. But they also could have totally used Facebook's expansion to their advantage. Be like, hey, Harvard U, this is truly exclusive, only Harvard. And they could have had one of those on each campus that would have been... Not the anti-Facebook. They could have worked.
They
right
could have
hand
still
in
created
hand.
the Harvard
But
connection.
yeah, they still could have created the Harvard.
But
For
they
sure.
couldn't create it.
No,
They
but
had to
they
have a
coulda-
computer.
They didn't have a
program.
coder.
There's so many coders on that campus that I don't. They
Totally.
wouldn't have been marked. But yeah, I mean, but they
Now-
decided just to whine about
Now,
it.
to that, I thought about that too. To that point, though, if they would have done that, they wouldn't have gotten $60 million in the settlement. Because then it would have been
They would
like
have proved that
And
it
they
wasn't.
would
wouldn't
have
have made
proved that
60
they didn't
million
get
on it.
stolen. They just did their own thing. So would you rather have the second-rate thing that dies, or $60 million for?
Or just sue somebody.
Yeah.
Got the freaking nerd.
You know who really wins in that? The lawyers.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's get lunch. That line resonated with me Like it rang in my head. Both lawyers, after like a heated debate between Zuckerberg and they're like angry to the point of tears. Both lawyers are like, all right, let's get lunch.
Yeah.
Because they're getting paid no matter what.
100%.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Guess who's paying for that? Zuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's paying for all of them.
Yep. Expensive lunch.
I keep thinking we're fast forwarding, but to your point, the movie goes forward and backward.
You know, we didn't put the movie on tonight.
Oh, we're not screening it?
Yeah, we'll see.
It's all right.
How
I
it
just
turns
watched it
out, I
last
guess.
night.
So the
Let's see how
I
this
did
episode
too.
goes.
the internship interview where they're all coding and doing shots.
So great.
That's an awesome scene. That is an amazing
That's great.
scene.
It's like classic college.
Yes, that's college.
classic college and monumental. He checks the code. Welcome to Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just an amazing scene. I have to imagine that's
Welcome
one.
to Facebook.
After you get done filming, you're like, all right, that nailed it. Like that's a great.
They were
one.
drinking absurd amounts of alcohol.
It was for a short amount of time. But yes, you're right.
I mean,
I couldn't have done it.
me neither. I certainly couldn't have thought while I was doing
These appletinis, however, cheers.
Yeah, you're good.
What's in an appletini?
It is 3 parts vodka, 1 part triple sec, 1 part sour apple pucker. Yeah,
Why are they more green in the movie than ours?
because ours are better probably.
Yeah, I'm guessing in a restaurant they add for the look. They add some
Because
extra.
every movie I've ever seen an appletini is bright green because that's always
That's
what,
also.
I would bet.
At a
I
bar
would
like that,
bet
it's
that if you.
pre-mixed.
I would bet that the ones that they were drinking are sweeter than this is.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would also bet that it was just green food coloring and water
Yeah.
as well. Hey, we talked about Mark not knowing. However, Mark's completely honest with Eduardo earlier on. Remember how we were talking about, does he know that they're screwing him over or whatever? He's super honest with him and says, if you don't come out to Palo Alto, you're going to get left behind. And that was way before Sean Parker was ever super involved. So I think, there is Mark kind of sees it on the wall.
He stops him. He goes, "What do you mean left behind?"
Yeah.
You know, another part of their relationship that I actually really liked how it was portrayed was that within the within the depositions.
That's the word, man. I tried to think of that word for an hour.
Within those,
Tonight?
No, when I was taking my notes. I kept saying cross-examine.
within those depositions, the lawyers were the ones that were being nasty.
Yeah.
The lawyers were the ones that were being nasty. It wasn't the friends. The friends actually resented what the lawyers were doing on their behalf in multiple different occasions.
Yeah.
And my guess is that is actually probably
Accurate.
but yeah, I mean, because the lawyers are doing their job, and their job is to protect you, get as much money as they can, do all of these things. And there's a personal relationship there that, like, you're just not going to cross certain lines. And
Well, Mark
he
even says to Sean,
"You were my best friend."
yeah, Mark even says to Sean Parker, hey, you didn't have to be that tough on him. To Eduardo when Eduardo comes in and gets
Didn't have to be that tough
asked
on him.
to leave. Yeah, you can
Now,
see
do
it.
you think that he sent the sent the chicken
The
thing?
chicken thing?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't. Nothing about his character says he wanted to. He didn't need to.
At that time,
He didn't need to.
Yeah,
And he's the one being soft on him.
You really don't think so?
I didn't
don't think
know
so.
you
I think
couldn't
you did.
feed a chicken.
That was funny.
Chicken nugget.
Is that true? Is that part true?
I hope it's true because it's so funny.
His Mark's. I found Mark's live
didn't
journal
know you
posts
couldn't feed it.
on Reddit.
You did?
I did Google that.
About the movie?
No, remember his live journal about Eric Albright and all that? That's all legit. That's all.
Seriously?
He's
Well,
So that's all legit.
I don't
Yeah.
think you would fake that.
So, but was that the start of Face Smash? Was that the
yes,
start of the whole
Face
thing?
Smash, yeah, he describes
so
the whole thing.
Really is the
Dude,
start.
How awesome is that just as a story?
He's literally.
Well,
You're
I
just
ha-
drunk.
I just
you're
hacked into this
blogging
house.
and you're hacking into all
This
these
one
different
was easy.
things.
This one was. Yeah.
And when
Yeah,
when he
you
tells,
should
when he
you
tells,
should
he's
thank
like,
me.
He's like 4 hours, huh? Well, that would be impressive if I hadn't have blogged the whole thing live.
And I wrote it on my window.
if you weren't looking on our window.
Oh yeah, looking at my window.
Dude, did you guys catch one of the actors? Was it Teal? Was that the major investment?
Peter Thiel.
His black partner. Who that was?
Hold on. Peter who?
The Teal. the angel investor that gives him 500,000.
Yeah, the
500
guy,
million.
the
Or 500,000.
He's the Allstate guy.
the Allstate guy.
But he's super young and skinny.
Oh.
although it's not the Allstate guy.
No?
It's a different guy. He's a different. He's not Allstate, but he's definitely a commercial guy.
Well, I'm going to end up on a list.
He kind of looks like Obama.
A little bit. Like the Allstate guy and Obama have a brother. Yes. Okay. Nate's saying
We haven't brought
run.
up Diddy this episode yet.
Nate's saying run. Nate's saying run fast. Here's my next note. Andrew Garfield plays an incredibly great scared little man.
What do you mean?
I don't know. He just
What was he scared about?
Dude, Eduardo was always on the verge of tears.
when his girlfriend
His
set things on
girlfriend,
fire.
Mark, he's a scared little man in his
I'm
underwear.
scared of you.
That was so funny.
He's so good. He's funny.
He's
a guy I would hang out with.
Here's my Andrew Garfield note. Andrew Garfield is becoming one of my favorite actors of this generation.
Oh wow.
So, of his generation, who do you like better?
Oh man, of his generation. So anyone younger than him?
Well, in that general
Also the
Timothy
same.
Timothy Calumet.
Yeah, he
That's-
might be a
no,
little
he-
younger, but
Yeah,
that's fine.
I would say that's
Do
different. Those
do
are
you like
different.
him better? I don't.
I don't.
know that I do.
I like him in Wonka. I think he's good in Wonka, and apparently he killed it in Bob Dylan.
I want to see the Bob Dylan one. He's great in
Give me
Dune, too.
years. Give me years that you would consider. You are
Like anyone in their 30s right now.
Yeah, he's probably.
So I mean,
he's-
Emma Stone,
Yeah, Emma Stone. He and Emma Stone would be probably my two.
Jonah Hill, maybe a little bit older.
I don't know the ages or names of anyone.
The one guy from that film. I'm just saying, like, if you really think about it, he is up there. Maybe Eddie Redmayne.
Who's that?
He's really good. He was in Les Mis.
You know what I was thinking? You never see Ron.
Producer Nate says Shia
LaBeouf kind of hit a lull though.
Here's what's silly. I
Peter
thought
Ron,
of that.
Falcon
never
is
see Ron
really good.
Weasley in anything.
Yeah, but Shia LaBeouf.
I like him. He's a good actor.
He had a
Ron
rebirth.
Weasley.
He had a rebirth personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, which has been great. to
But I
see.
mean, since then he's played great roles. He was in Fury. Fury was what
Fury
made him do
Peanut
that.
Butter Falcon is really
Peanut Butter Falcon's so good.
Except
what's
Except for
his,
that
like-
one scene.
throw.
But he also has his Honey Boy. That's
I haven't seen Honey Boy. He directed that though, right?
well, Honey Boy is like his story,
oh, really? I didn't know
and
that.
he plays his dad.
Oh wow.
And his dad's abusive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he's
Don't
got a
tell me
whole-
anything. I want to watch
okay.
it. Also,
Yeah.
we have listeners.
Did he have his dad play him so he could beat him up?
Jeez.
That's the worst take.
Anyway, there's not. I think he might be my favorite in this. In like,
I'm
that
definitely.
generation.
I need to see a
gaining-
list.
I'm gaining respect, and he's definitely gaining.
I just
some
haven't
clout.
seen him in a whole lot since this.
Well, he's really good in Hacksaw Ridge.
I haven't seen that.
He's really good in Tick Tick Boom.
Okay,
Tick,
so
Tick,
then I
Boom
just
is
need to
good.
see more. I just need to see more.
I just need to see more.
I
Oh,
haven't
this is
seen
one of
him
my
in
notes.
anything since 2010. So
Facebook was created out of spite. A hurt heart releases genius. Wait, is that 9 words? 1, 2, 3, 4. Dude, I could
So
take
to
a
that
run for your
point,
money.
Sean is using Mark to basically get back at everyone who wronged him
For Napster?
for Napster. Yeah.
Well, no one wronged him.
Well, he says people wronged him. If we're saying the movie is accurate,
he basically says
No,
that
he's
those
just-
investment bankers came in and corrupted what he had.
and he said they planted stuff and that they.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Paranoid.
Paranoid.
Yeah, absolutely paranoid. I think to your point, I think Sean and Mark had a lot of similarities, and yeah, I would agree with that take for sure.
The only other note I have on the major thing, because I just love the end where he friends her. He adds her as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
The girlfriend that
Eric
that
Albrecht?
broke up with her. Yeah, Albrecht.
All bright. He made
The
fun of her
end
last
of
name. Not
the end of the film is him refreshing.
Yeah, he's just refreshing.
Yep.
I thought that was so clever.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Because the height of his success. So
I think it's just that I love Sorkin. I love
what do you think is interesting about that?
It definitely shows a difference between him and it humanizes him.
Not only does it humanize him, I just think I think what he has that most people don't have, among other things, is money. This guy is now worth a ton of money, more than anyone can ever fathom, and yet what he wants
is connection.
is the connection with someone that he'll never have a connection with.
And he wants a human connection, and he could have had it.
And money could not buy it. He
but
threw
the problem
it away.
is, like she said, it's like, I mean, I'm just going to use her words, but she said, like, you're an asshole.
Yeah, it's not. If you're wondering if people don't like you because you're a nerd, that's not it.
Yes. Last takes I had, they have the celebration party to hit 1 million. They hit 1 million, and Mark basically just, cool. He's just still focused on how can I make it better. Totally the Belichick of Facebook.
Yeah.
No celebration. On to the next one.
We'll see.
Yeah. My last take then
He's
would
definitely
be,
driven by the process itself.
Yeah. He wants to make it great.
Like, is he aiming for something specific? It doesn't
So
seem like it.
Here's a fun fact. Jesse Eisenberg read the script, and originally when they moved to California, he's jumping off the house into the pool with them, and he didn't like that because he didn't see Mark Zuckerberg having that much fun. So in the rewrites, he's filming it, and he's like, okay, I can settle for that because he did a ton of all these great actors do, and he did a good job. Like, he actually read either like the journal or memoirs of Zuckerberg to find out that Zuckerberg really likes fencing. Did you guys know this? He likes fencing.
No.
And so he took fencing classes for a month, and it changed his posture, which actually he used for the movie. Like, it changed his posture for the movie. So just to your point, like he really wanted to embody the, I don't care about the fun aspect of this. I want to get back to work.
Yeah.
I want another movie with what's happened since. I
Yeah,
feel like
Kelsey said.
This movie was almost done too early. Like, I feel like it left me with so many more
But
questions.
what would the movie be
I
about?
love that, though. That's the thing that makes it great.
No. Yes.
What would the movie be about?
I don't know.
The allegations of like the, what would it be about?
They've been there's the court cases.
Court cases?
I mean, there's tons of stuff.
I think that the movie Air that you mentioned earlier is very similar. Is like it picks up in one spot. It ends before the Jordan stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's so cool.
You say that, and in the book he talks about how pivotal Jordan was to making Nike what it is.
No.
Yes, he does.
Nope.
Yes, he does.
No, you're wrong.
It is a 12-hour book, and
I can't wait.
They talk about Jesse Owens, and then the triumphant thing is how Michael Jordan takes Nike to the next level.
Shoe Dog is, so you're saying Air is literally based on Shoe Dog?
No.
Air is essentially once Phil Knight has already created Nike, and how signing Jordan makes Nike the mega brand.
Yep.
And it is in the book.
No.
Am I wrong about this, producer Nate?
He's never read the book.
We'll find out. Let's get moving to
it wouldn't be the first time I didn't really read the book.
But, by the way, question. I don't know if you looked this up. Did Sean Parker actually live across the street from the house they rented in
no way.
No, there's no chance, right? No.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
That seems like one of those, like, I definitely am guilty of this, of creating serendipity.
Sure.
Right? Like, there's somebody that I want to meet. I know that they're going to be there.
Yeah.
I create the serendipity.
They have lunch there every Wednesday at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I've 100% done that.
On that point,
Good on Sean.
My first quote I'll share is from Sean. He goes, Mark says, "Hey," and he goes, "Hey, this is my Sharon."
Been there. It is funny. $18,000. Yes. In addition to the $1,000 you already put up. Yes. So a total of $19,000 now. Yes. Hang on. I'm just checking your math on that. Yes, I got the same thing. By the way, that's David Fincher's favorite line of the movie.
That is definitely that's perfect.
Classic Zuckerberg.
That's perfect. Just checking. Yep. Okay, got it. Yep. You're good.
I would absolutely do that. My favorite.
I would do that too.
Back to my favorite line, real quick. We can do that ourselves. I'm 6'5", 220, and there's two of me.
Oh yeah.
I've never forgotten that line.
There's a difference between being obsessed and being motivated. And then she says, yes. Yes, there is.
This is a Sean Parker quote to Eduardo. Eduardo is basically saying, well, I've read enough to know about you. And Sean replies, you know how much I've read about you? Nothing. That was good.
Yeah, so good.
Here's the direct quote you were talking about earlier. You know, you really don't need a forensics team to get to the bottom of this. If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
I love it. He goes, he's telling Eduardo about this idea, right? He pulls him out of the Caribbean thing. He's telling him about the idea. And he goes, Eduardo goes, I can't feel my legs. And Zuckerberg goes, yeah, I know. I'm psyched too.
Oh, man.
That is good.
I loved that part. Didn't even write it down.
Those early scenes of their relationship and the dialogue they have.
Yeah.
Like that cute banter is really funny, some of the stuff they say. So Sean Parker says this, and I think this is interesting. I wonder if Sean Parker really is attributed to this. We lived on farms, then we lived in cities, and now we're going to live on the internet. You remember when he says that in the movie? Like, like he's kind of like going on this drunk banter, but it's true.
He is portrayed as the person who saw the vision for Facebook.
Yeah, what is it?
What it could be. And I looked up Sean Parker during this while I was watching it, and because I was just fascinated to know. And Peter Thiel was quoted as saying, like, Facebook, like Mark wouldn't have caught the vision for what Facebook could be without Sean Parker.
I mean, the movie suggests that.
Yeah.
So I know the reason that it's told to me why MySpace didn't take off, because MySpace was first and Friendster was first. By the way, Tom is living the dream now. He's sold off and he's just doing photography and travel in the world.
I don't know anything about Tom.
Why?
I wonder if I still have a MySpace.
Why didn't MySpace take off? Why did the movie depicts this as like this brilliant idea? No one's ever seen anything like this, but it's not true. Like, this already existed, and they're acting like this is this big thing that no one knows about, and they ended up being right. But why? Why didn't MySpace figure this out?
The coding.
The coding? Are you just guessing?
I don't know.
The reason that's told to me is the exclusivity of Harvard. So you start with Harvard, no one can get in unless they're Harvard. Then you go to Ivy League. You can't get in unless you're Ivy League. And so like it becomes cool because it's exclusive. Before you know it, it's just cool, period, and then you unveil it. Whereas MySpace was for everybody.
MySpace was cool.
It was cool, but it didn't survive, and that's why I'm like, what?
I think maybe the key difference, correct me if I'm wrong, MySpace, you really weren't interacting with other people. You just had your trophy case of you, and then you were going and looking at other people's, whereas Facebook, you actually started interacting, sharing information about yourself.
But that was until later.
So the other thing is that Facebook was constantly improving and constantly tapping
MySpace arrived.
That's what I was...
And it was constantly tapping into...
That's interesting.
Pieces of human psychology that made it more and more and more addictive.
And everybody running Facebook was in the middle of their demographic, where Tom had passed.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, they were updating it right along with it.
But hey, I'm friends with Tom on MySpace, right?
You don't know.
Is that still a site?
Drop the.
Drop the.
No way.
Just Facebook. It's
Justin Timberlake bought MySpace.
Justin Timberlake bought MySpace?
That's what producer Nate says.
That is a fun fact.
That's a great fact.
Okay, we're talking about things we should delete. If my Zanga is available, you guys ever have a Zanga?
Yeah, that was...
I wrote some absolutely... I wrote some things on there that teachers at my high school were talking about.
Were you blogging or talking about...
blogging after a sporting event, and I was angry. I was very angry.
So you're just talking crap about the other team?
No. I there were some F-bombs. I was upset because we were ranked. Like, I went to all the basketball games, helped lead student section. We lost in sectionals to a team we shouldn't have, and I just got so angry.
Let everybody have it.
Yeah, let him. Yeah.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
I
want to go find that.
I did not know the story about Roy Raymond until this movie.
I don't know about the story of him now.
The guy who invented Victoria's Secret.
I thought the guy that owns it now started it.
The guy from the Limited?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he sold for what?
It said $4 million.
$4 million.
There's $500 million 2
years later, and he
I
jumps
think
off.
that's a great story.
Now,
Well,
I mean, doesn't
No,
end well.
it's
not great for Roy.
It's a
Lesson.
great story for him to tell at that time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like there's no way that's the reason he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge is because it just was worth more than he sold it for? Like, that dude's got some other things going on in his life.
Well,
maybe he
probably.
made the $4 million, blew it, and then that just
Well, the other
added to
I'm
other
just telling
piece
you,
of it
you
is
got some
like
other things going on in your life.
founders. That's what happens to many founders, right? Because like what gets you there, what gets you here, isn't going to get you there, right? So that actually happens to a lot of founders. Is that they sell because they're like, wow, this is incredible. Somebody else sees what it could be. That's the lesson. You've got your seed money. It's what you're talking about, Rem. You're like, this is not my last thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to, like, there's going to be other things. There's going, like, the cover is going to be huge, you know? That's what we're all going to, huge
cover.
We're going to need a huge cover. Anyway, another quote for you guys. No. This is what they're talking about if they want to hire a lawyer. He said, no, I want to hire the Sopranos and beat the crap out of him.
Yes.
Isn't that right before
Slightly edited.
your quote?
What?
The 200-pound? No, I thought that was in the same group.
They just talked about beating him up a lot.
I'm ready to go to Hidden Gems because I used all my quotes
Hold
in
on.
the slam poetry.
I could. You did use a lot of quotes. I could have sworn he was looking at you when he said the next Bill Gates could be in this room. I showed up late. I don't even know who the speaker was.
It was Bill Gates. That's great, dude. Can you imagine? By the way, they talk about white privilege. Just showing up to an event, not knowing who it was, and you were able to get in on a time where like Bill Gates is just speaking.
Yes.
Well, we had a lot of. Did you guys have a lot of good speakers in
I guess
college?
it's not white privilege.
I had a
That's
lot
just-
of good speakers in college that I wish I would have like gone to or paid more
Dude,
attention to.
for sure. Just school in general. I've said this before. I was a bad student.
Yeah.
I studied to get the grade.
Yeah, at IU South Bend, we had some great speakers.
Tell me about your speakers.
Phenomenal. Mostly, don't do drugs. Things
When
like
the
that.
lawyer asks, "Do I
Dare
have
officers were speaking. Dare officers speaking at IU South.
I actually was the winner of a Dare essay.
Really? What'd you talk about?
I thought Marcus was
Not
going to
doing
say
drugs.
Not doing drugs?
I was actually the speaker at IU South
No,
Bend.
that was either fourth or fifth grade. I don't remember, but I definitely won that contest.
Dude, okay, so time out.
I like
On
winning.
that note, did you guys ever do the thing where you sign the thing saying I will never do drugs or alcohol when you're in elementary school?
Yes.
Probably.
So
And I won the essay.
So we all lied?
No. My friend Bryce, who was one of the, he's my best friend in elementary school. He was definitely a problem kid, whatever. And him and my buddy Trey, that I think a couple of you guys have met, they wouldn't sign it. We're in like fourth grade. They're like, I know.
Good
They're
for
like,
them.
They're like, I know my mom and dad drink. I know I'm going to want to drink someday. No, I'm not signing it. Heck yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
For sure.
Yes.
And they were probably really frowned upon with their teachers and everybody.
Absolutely.
Frowned upon.
Absolutely.
It's established.
Shout out.
Or it was
Bryce
just a checkbox that the cops were like, all right, we've got our list of people to look out for.
Dude, what if that is?
I guarantee it's part of it.
Yeah. Jeez.
Things
Smarties.
we never thought about.
Yeah.
How about when the lawyer says, "Do I have your full attention?"
No.
Oh, I love his answer, and I couldn't write it all down, but he's basically like, "Do I have your? No, you don't have my full attention. I've got Facebook going on. I'm in all these different lawsuits. No. You have the smallest amount of my attention.
Minimum amount
The
of
minimum
attention.
amount of my
Minimum.
attention.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Minimum amount. That's so perfect.
Do you think I
love that.
deserve your attention?
So good. $1 million isn't cool. You know what's cool? $1 billion.
Sean, just
That was the point where I Googled how much he's worth now. It's over 200 billion.
Sean Parker is.
No. Zuck.
Dude, I like when Sean Parker has the cocaine on his hands and the cop turns his hands over and he goes,
That's not mine. That was good. That's an underrated movie line right there. That's not mine.
I was drunk and angry and stupid and blogging. It's like Brett.
It's so interesting
Thank
as
you.
you're
Been there.
talking about like rating these movies, because you just said the cocaine thing. I'm reading some of these like fun facts. And the cocaine scene had to be very carefully edited to avoid an R rating. Like, I really want to better understand how they rate these movies. Like, do they go back
they didn't
and forth?
actually do cocaine.
Because they
Probably.
didn't like show the depiction of it. Like, they don't
So this
show
is
the
a PG-13?
powder. This is PG-13. By the way, this is a pretty strong, like, word to the wise, this is a strong PG-13.
Yeah, this is on the edge.
Definitely could
have
have been R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also could have been because of, I mean, the girls basically undressing during that scene ish.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some elements you don't want to have your kids watching.
Yeah, I wouldn't want my almost 13-year-old watching it. But I definitely saw movies that were comparable to this in middle school.
Interesting. So, autism expert Temple Grandin, since we all know who that is, stated that the depiction of Zuckerberg in this film matches that of someone with Asperger's.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
it's
is
certainly possible.
been said. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know Zuckerberg, so I don't know for sure.
I haven't met him officially, but yeah.
I don't even think he's my friend on Facebook.
Boys, we ready for hidden gems?
Yeah.
I want confirmation that the Jewish fraternity at Harvard is actually like that.
It's hard to believe it wouldn't be like that.
That was so
I would think
incredibly
that it
lame.
would be a pretty large fraternity.
It's pretty funny he talks about Niagara Falls, which has nothing to do with
That
the
was
Caribbean.
so good. And then Eduardo looks, he's like, huh.
Hidden
Not
Gem,
what
the
I was
song
thinking
that plays
about.
in the car scene where Mark goes to the meeting in his pajamas is a NSYNC song.
Ah, that's fun.
Love and
Also, the song that you're talking about, we talked a lot about music in this. I do remember the rowing song, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, is a Trolls depiction in which Justin Timberlake, that's the
Oh,
main hair up.
Oh, nice.
And
That's
this
good.
came out before Trolls, so I'm guessing Justin Timberlake stole the idea.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to throw it on so you can hear because you're gonna love the 6 notes. Do you guys remember what his blog was called?
Yes.
I saw-
Zuck It.
Close. Zuck on it.
Zuck on it. Yeah. And by the way, when I read it, it wasn't until Kelsey said something about it, and I was like, oh, that's what
So good. Zuck.
Was that really what it was?
I mean, I don't know,
I'm
but
guessing it was.
if,
All right.
probably.
Who
Sounds
turned
right.
down the role of Mark? Fun fact, we have mentioned him tonight.
oh, wow.
oh,
One of the great actors of our generation, apparently.
Shia LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf.
oh,
And I think he would have done a good job. I think Jesse Eisenberg was the perfect choice for Zuckerberg. I honestly thought that when I saw it, but Shia
you know
would have
who
done a good job.
could have done a good job, but is probably too pretty?
Jonah Hill.
I was gonna say Ryan Gosling.
Why do you think that?
Just like his portrayal, like he's very quick with his words and everything else.
How
in
great is The Big Short?
The Big Short.
Big Short's great.
I think Ryan Gosling's great too. I like him. He's pretty.
He's great in Barbie, honestly.
He's pretty. I haven't seen Barbie.
It's worth a watch.
Oh my gosh.
It's worth a watch.
Hidden Gems.
It's worth. Oh, you know what?
Yes.
Let's do Barbie.
Dude, it's worth the watch, but I'm so angry.
It's such.
I've never seen it.
There's so much potential, and it just went straight woke.
yeah. It
It
really,
didn't need to.
It didn't need to, and it would. And I
It
just-
could have been
I
so
got
good.
more
Sounds like we
angry.
just did Barbie. Okay.
That's very possible.
But there are, dude. No, Marcus. There are some scenes that are completely epic and hilarious. And
I believe you.
that I think you'll enjoy.
And there's a song apparently that Ryan Gosling.
That's one of the moments.
Yeah, because he's good. How about this? I put Hidden Gems, Bussing in Girls. Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I understand now. I bussing like
Bussing.
an autobus.
An autobus.
Autobus?
Yes.
Yes. Goodness.
You are automobiling ladies into a fraternity party, or in this case, a finals club.
A final club.
Is it finals club?
She said finals. He said final.
Clubs. Final club. Okay. Final club party. The
but
Phoenix.
this was the whole thing. Like this was because I went to an all-male college. This was like a thing that like different fraternities would boast about, or just the college in general. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's all male, but they bus girls in on the weekends." They would say that. They didn't really bus in; they came in carloads.
So Jonathan Groff, you're never going to get this, but Jonathan Groff auditioned for the role of Sean Parker.
Oh,
He's Christoph.
yeah.
I didn't know he did anything besides stage acting.
the King of England.
Man, he's so good as the
He's
king.
so good.
Love that.
That's got to be a role that is one of the shortest, most epic roles. I mean, he's on stage. The play's how long? 2.5 hours.
Yep. About
And
2.5 hours.
For what,
He's on
6
stage
minutes?
for and
Maybe?
he could win an award for it.
Steals the show.
Steals the show for 6 minutes.
him.
It's that good.
Him.
You
yelling, singing, but also
Spitting.
slightly spitting and kind of like it just,
Everybody.
The eyes.
Oh, so good.
He comes out. In
I
fact,
wish I would have seen it live.
You told me, you
Like
tried to
on
explain to me,
Broadway.
you were an early adopter of Hamilton. Before it was on Disney. You just listened to the soundtrack.
yes.
And you're like, this is so good. And you explained it to me. I didn't get it. So then I'm watching and I'm like, oh, I can see why Brett likes this. He comes out on stage. I'm like, oh, I'm sold. This is hilarious and awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think Brett probably
Right,
more than
rising tides raise all boats.
I
Because
think
then
that-
I accepted the rest of the show too because it was so good.
I think Brett probably more than me and maybe you. I don't want to speak for you. Understood what Lin-Manuel Miranda was getting at with a lot of the
hip hop
references.
Yes.
And so that's probably a musical that resonated with you in a completely different way.
So yeah, I'm not even realizing this for the first time. You guys don't even know this probably. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10 dual commandments.
Yep.
That's a Notorious B.I.G. song called the 10 Crack Commandments.
Oh, no. Did not know that.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Yeah, I need to
Is that the tune that goes to
Oh
it?
yeah, exact.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Well,
I was
he
like,
also
that's
does
catchy.
he also does the ALEX.
So is there a lot
Yes.
of is there the hip hop tunes in this? Is there a lot of references like that, or is that the only one?
I need to look back. That's the one that jumped out right away when Marcus said that.
Well,
That's
the
pretty interesting.
ALEX was somebody. Somebody did that. They spelled.
Yeah, on a future episode.
Oh, we could do Hamilton.
I love it.
I bet that we should do Hamilton.
Our first stage, guys. We're growing.
I wrote Hidden Gems. I wrote Trombone. I thought that was really funny.
This is an interesting fun fact.
Remind me.
Sean Parker's waking up next to the girl, and she's like, "You don't remember me, do you?" And he says her name and blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
Stanford.
And he goes, "And you play the trombone." She's like, "I don't play the trombone." He said, "I remember something about a trombone."
That's a great opening scene for him.
So Quentin Tarantino called this the best film of the 2010s,
Wow.
which is interesting because he likes some weird films. Like he's not.
I really like this movie.
That's a very.
It's very good.
Wow.
That's high praise for someone who doesn't usually say stuff like that.
And for some reason, I don't.
And
see
he
him-
he also created movies in the 2010s.
And he loves lots of violence, lots of gore, lots of.
Yeah, that's not. This is not his
style.
jam.
Wow. So this is a great movie.
Yeah.
So we all agree.
Just because Quentin.
9.
Have we yet to do a Quentin Tarantino? I don't think we've
I
done
don't
one
think
yet.
we have.
Yeah, interesting.
I'd do any of them, but Pulp Fiction's so good, and I've never picked it apart like this, but I don't think we can do it on.
We'll see.
We could. I think we could.
Man, so
Dude, we've done
Last fun fact, by the way. Appletinis is what we're drinking tonight.
Yeah.
So Zuckerberg had never had one until he saw it. So he snuck in and saw the movie, screened it, and said, I've never had an Appletini. So, and then he went immediately after and had one, and now it's the official drink of Facebook. That's a true fact.
That's fun. Way to lean
Appletinis.
into it, Mark. Rating time. that was Rem. I'm gonna go 8.1. Loved this movie, and I think that I said it could be anywhere between. I was willing to give it a low 7 to low 8. It would depend on how accurate it was, and I was hell bent on that. Remington didn't have those facts ready, and that's okay.
I did have the facts ready.
Well,
there was nothing to support it otherwise.
Yeah. So
the only facts that I could find were Sean Parker didn't like how he was portrayed.
Sorry, the facts weren't available to tell us that. So I decided, you know what? We are doing this movie as if it's accurate, so that's why it's getting an 8.1 for me.
I concur.
8.1
Why didn't I concur?
is what you said?
I concur.
Why didn't I just concur? I said 8.1.
8.1.
Marcus, don't let my rating
Just
affect
concur.
your rating. Don't
Just
let my rating affect your rating.
just
You
concur.
do you, man.
Just concur. Concur. Across the board.
8.6.
Marcus loves this movie. And it's
I do. I really do.
And Tarantino.
And it was my pick for this.
would be
Did
upset.
Tarantino bump you from 8.5
No.
to 8.6?
No.
All right. So what's next is Slumdog?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Slumdog.
So how are we picking the books? We just pick one?
One pick per month.
This show has to do Sonny Boy by Al Pacino. And I can't even tell you, like, you're going to know why as soon as you get done.
I'm in.
We have to do Sonny Boy by Al Pacino.
Okay. So that's our book for this month. I'm doing The Matrix.
Nice.
Matrix.
For February?
I'll do
yeah.
Matrix for sure.
Matrix. I saw.
Now, are we ever going to do the trilogy, or is there too much to unpack for one movie?
Here's
Like,
the deal.
like spend a month on a trilogy?
I don't think it's
No.
I don't think it's necessary. I realized I've never watched The Matrix since being a Christian. And I just saw the girl who made Terminator and The Matrix, and she talks about how Terminator is basically it all comes into Neo basically being Jesus. It's
like
wild.
a Christ imagery.
It's wild how she explains it. So I'm excited to watch it.
This was what we're doing now is each of us gets to pick one for the month, and then we pick a book collectively. So are we doing Shoe Dog or Sunny Boy next?
We're doing Slumdog next. Slumdog is our next show.
What book are we doing next?
In February.
I
could do either one. I'd be more excited about the Sunny Boy one because
let's do Sunny Boy.
Sunny Boy.
So we'll do that for February.
Marcus, you don't have to be put on the spot. You can think.
Well, I have like a couple of ideas. Do you know what you want to do movie wise for
movie
February?
wise? Oh shoot.
Well, Slumdog I think was
Slumdog's mine
Yeah.
for the next.
So that's for January.
Yeah. Oh no, we don't have to talk about February yet.
Oh wait, what am I talking about?
It's January 6th right now.
Well, because of when these are going to come out.
Gotcha.
Slumdog will come out at the end of January. So then we're into February.
I'm pumped for Slumdog. Slumdog is that movie where every single time there's like 10 different things that happen.
It's
I'm like,
so good.
oh, it's that movie that this happens in. Like, there's so many
I
epic,
really, really like
epic parts.
You're
of
gonna be
Slumdog Millionaire.
shocked by this. I don't think I've ever paid attention well enough while I watch it. So very excited.
Brett's like, what happens in Slumdog?
all I remember is
This has potential to be your favorite movie of the
is
year.
Tent City and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That's all I remember.
Tent City, like the slum.
Sure. Yeah.
like
we
he lives in
also
a slum.
we also need to do City of God at some point.
Yeah,
It's very
you said
similar.
that.
It's very similar to Slum.
I think I know what I'm going to do for February, but we'll leave it as a mystery.
All right. Don't forget to Google Janet Jackson Super Bowl. See you later.
Hey,
Bye.
thanks for coming over, guys. I had a lot of fun with you tonight.